Has grooming changed how you see yourself? Um, I personally don't really enjoy the process of sitting in a barber, getting my hair cut, and having threading done and all the nice things. However, the outcome is always positive, which don't ever cheat on your barber. Um, yeah, so has grooming changed how you feel? Definitely. I have very good friend that I go with to the barber, like any other couple, essentially. And we usually just get some alone time. We manage to go for the haircut and come out feeling like a new person. Our Mondays and Tuesdays usually very good, but when we get to Wednesdays and we have to start shaving again, it's a little bit of a damper. How do you balance your work and family life? Now, that's a bit of a difficult one. As a workaholic running two business and still working for TPC, it is a very difficult balance. However, I've noticed that if I wake up early enough and I get a good night's rest and taking the occasional weekend off, the balance works just perfectly. One of my secrets to doing it is making sure that I have some sort of breakfast in the morning, usually oats. And if possible, even doing a fruit bowl on a set Sunday or a Monday to keep me through the week. So we'll make probably about 3 or 4. Meal prepping usually helps a lot, and that gives us a little bit of improved quality of life. What's the hardest part about relationships for men? That one's also a difficult one, and it also depends on the individual that we're talking of. Being it a parent, making sure that we do everything that we possibly can for our parents for as long as they possibly are, yeah, in their healthy form. And that's your priority. Relationship with your parent, I think, is extremely important for any individual. If it is your spouse, I would say always, or I'll try your best to actually be attentive. Date nights are always really encouraged. Do something different, spontaneous, and be mysterious. Essentially, say date night, you, me, Wednesday night, and leave it as that. The answer is yes, and run with it. And when it comes to friends is a bit of a difficult one. For me, personally, a friend is not a person who shows up to every event, but the person who would be there if you just phone them and say, I need you here now. They will drop anything and be there. Family in companies, treat them with respect, treat them with honor, be there for them, be open with them, be honest with them. And I believe that will give you the most positive home life at work.
Or who's one man that has influenced your life? Okay, this was the easy one, motherhood. One, I'll talk about my dad. When you grow up and the father is the only person that brings bread on the table, you look up for that person, and everything that we grow up thinking that you own. When you grow up, you only realize that you get it from them, and that has rubbed so much in me that what I got from him, I'm giving it back to the boys. Okay, I have 2 boys, so when I talk about the father, I see him in me, and I want to make sure that even my offsprings, they get the same fatherhood that I got from my dad. And he's my hero. My dad raised 7 of us. He was the only one working. He never gave up and say, I can't, this is difficult. And not even a single day he has ever complained that, guys, you are too much for me and I'm unable to go to work every single day. So that is one person that I think I give all respect to. And then on that one, I'll also add, I have a older brother whom as a firstborn boy, there's a sister and there's a brother. But as a firstborn boy, he made sure that all of us have an opportunity to go to university. So he's the first one in the family to break the chain, to get to the varsity. Then when he finished, he made sure that all that came after him have an opportunity. So I still owe the most for him as well. And that is one person that I say as well, he groomed the person I am. Go up for your male friends. Okay, this is one. For a male friend, usually we go out over the weekends. We have one or two, and when men are sitting, there are men conversations, and that is when you end up realizing that one is bleeding silently in relationships, so would give more attention to that one than the rest. Mainly to be all about one or two, but it's not about that. It's about knowing how are you, and when I say how are you, I don't want to say I'm fine. I want you to go deeper than that. I have an ear to listen. I have a sharp eye to see if someone needs my attention. So that is when I'll give more attention to that male friend. What does a brotherhood mean to you? Okay. A brotherhood to me means a lot. It doesn't just mean a person I grew up with or a person I met. It means a brother. It means part of the family. We open up. There are secrets that even my family doesn't know about, but a brother would know about them. When we cry, mostly we don't really refer to our immediate families because they don't really know what we do every day, what we go through every day. So a person that, every time I say, man, can you have a chat, is always there. So to me, it means a lot, and it's more than a friend, it's more than a brother. To me, it's like a family. So we need to take them seriously deep than what a name means. So to me, it's part of a family, not just a brother. What does being a good partner means to you? Okay. I love this one. What does a good partner means to you? A good partner to me, personally, it means respect. It means loyalty. It means a home, not a house. So a home must be warm. When I leave my work, I must be able to think, the first thing that comes to my mind is not to go and get one or two, but to think about my home. So is a person that, in good days and in bad days, I'm able to say one or two was wrong. I know that partner will not judge. Yes, we get instances where a person will defend their wrongs, but when you say it out what the issues are inside the house, they take it positively. A good partner to me is someone that we can share responsibilities, because these days as a man, there's what we call 50-50 now, but it's not about 50-50 anymore. Life on its own is tough. So as a man, if you want to be a superhero and think you can do everything, you will bleed in silence, you will bleed inside. So a good partner is a person that says, when you are down, when I come and say I could not do this and that today, you'll be able to say, from here I'll take over and I'll see how I finish it off. So for me, a good partner is someone that I can go and cry to say, at work there was this and that, and it will put me right and advice. So it's more than a friend. It's a person who takes more of a responsibility of a sister to me than someone that I've married or someone that I stay with. So it's that for me.
What grooming advice would you give to younger men? I think grooming has evolved from where it was before, when we were still younger. I think grooming involved masculinity, and how you groomed yourself determined how masculine you are, which has absolutely changed these days. I think as men, we have started accepting that grooming has a cleanliness and hygiene element to it, right? So I'll definitely encourage men to pay more attention to how they groom themselves. It's not just about the hair. It's okay to get your nails buffed and shined, right? Because they do need to be cleaned. A shave is healthy, and it's something that prolongs life and doesn't take away from it, and has absolutely nothing to do with your masculinity in any way. How do you communicate love or care in your relationship? Wow, what a question. How do I communicate love or care in my relationships? I would say two things are very critical for me. I believe that the point of any relationship is to be there for someone when they need you, and not just when it's convenient or when they want you around, right? So being that as it may, I think servitude, right? A big one for me. And secondly, empathy, right? You have to be empathetic towards anyone you relate with. You have to put yourself in their shoes so you can better understand them. And in better understanding them, then servitude comes into play, right? Then you can adopt a certain posture based on your understanding, and that will help you better communicate love to them. How do you show vulnerability in your relationships? I think I'm getting all the tough questions. Again, vulnerability, it's not another word that is associated with masculinity, but rather femininity, right? But again, as we grow, I think it's something that's becoming more and more evident that men need to do and do more often. How I show this in my relationship specifically, I think, is transparency, right? Be very transparent, even if it's going to annoy your partner. It's like, oh, you always want to offload and tell me, right? But it's not about the offloading aspect or taking my burdens and putting them on her, but rather me adopting a posture of vulnerability, right? Just to communicate certain things, how I feel, how certain things make me feel, right? And I always feel that after we've been vulnerable and been transparent about what's going on, where we are, and what progress we've made collectively as a couple, we always seem to chart the best way forward following those conversations. How can workplaces better support men's mental health? What a big question. I think this answer, sure. We need more forums as men to sit down and collectively discuss and to share not only what we're going through, but our experiences. I think in the most recent session we had, my perspective was broadened a lot, not just about what men are going through, but specifically about the posture men take when they get to the office, as to not to show everyone else in the office exactly what they're going through. In the last forum that we spoke, there were a lot of painful things that men were sharing and bringing to light, right? And some of those men are men colleagues we work with on a daily basis. And had it not been for that forum, I personally would not have known that those things are going on, right? So that speaks to how well they carry some of these things in the office space, right? But that does not negate the need for more forums for men to communicate, share, offload, impart.
The last week of November is the first week of 16 days of activism, right? So the question is, entering the 16 days of activism, what responsibility do you believe men carry in creating safer, more respectful homes and communities?
Safer, respectful, and what responsibility we carry. Yeah, again, leaning on the Bible heavily, right? I think in terms of responsibility, God has shown us how to carry responsibility as men, right? We protect, we secure, we provide, right? And most importantly, which I personally feel is a huge contributor to a lot of the things that women find themselves dealing with now in South Africa, men are expected to forgive, right? We are that expectation. We are responsible for forgiving our women when they step out of line, and in correcting them, how do we correct, right? That all speaks to how we can create a safer environment tomorrow, right? Over and above us being men and the responsibilities that we have today, I think in the future, we all want to be fathers and be fathers to daughters, right? I think the responsibility speaks to that as well. If we don't start today, in our month when all the attention is on men, right, to acknowledge some of the challenges that women are going through, the challenges that women are facing in terms of GBV in our country, will not stop, right? And what better forum or platform to raise these things than when men's voices are actually being platformed or given the attention that we so lack at times.
I think to create a safer space, we need to understand what men are going through, because I cannot go and create something while I'm still breathing. So I think as a man, our responsibility is to make sure that our offsprings understand conversations, understand how to communicate, understand that whatever you do in life, whatever you do doesn't always reciprocate back. So what you give does not mean you must get. So I think that's what we missed. So now what is happening is, if I give affection, I expect affection back. And if I don't get it back, I react. So that is where I think we missed it as men. And platforms, conversation, men conference, we need to have them honestly with each other, because that is where we learn that certain things that you think they are off a mountain to you, somebody, when somebody just talks about them, you see that no, man, it's not really the most important thing in my relationship. And another thing, I believe that to create a safer space is to also have conversation in our household. So there's no need for me to go and give out my feelings to a brotherhood, but in the house don't understand what I'm going through. I'll just go out a little bit from the conversation to say, men on their own, they have a lot of things running into their head. You know, we are stressed. We have a lot that I think in our homes are going through, but we never talk about them at home. So the safer space is to start from there. Have a conversation in our homes. Have a conversation to say certain things that I expect to be the basic. You are failing on them. And if you fail on them, I react in a certain way. And when you react back. So I believe we need to start there to end up making our girl child to be of a safer space. Because if a boy child understands communication, he will be able to know, how do I react towards a girl child?
This question is a little bit of a tough one, but I think there's a lot that goes into it. One of the big things about it is actually education. Educate yourself, educate the people around you. Understand what is going on, because if we understand the roots of the situation, we can at least try and figure out a solution. It's not something we're going to fix permanently, but it's definitely something that we can work towards. Building healthier relationships, as our colleagues mentioned, it all starts from home. If we ourselves believe that we should respect the woman the way we would expect our daughters to be respected, I think that would be a very, very good place to start. If we create that environment, as you mentioned, create that environment where there's a safe space to actually come in, talk about it, be vulnerable, understand, and improve on. I mean, we can all improve in some way or another. This can also be improved on at home. And my third and probably my final point is we need to also keep our friends, hold our friends accountable, because we often see what's going on, and even though we're not entirely educated about the matter or subject matter expert, we know what is going on, what is transpiring is not accurate, it's not right, it should not be that way. It is so important for us to be an active bystander, not enforce the bystander effect, not thinking to ourselves that the next person will handle it, being ambassadors in this and actually taking charge and doing something positive, doing something good, and finding a way to improve someone else's situation. But yes, it still boils down to education. We educate ourselves so that we can educate others.